Ate Sana. From the United States of America, Miss Earth Water, Bea Milan Wendorsky.
Magandang araw, Pilipinas. It's an honor to join you all here in my new home. This past year has truly been transformative in advocating for what I hold dear, and that's ensuring that climate displaced people have the rights and dignity to continue their livelihoods. We feel that especially acutely here in the Philippines, where unfortunately hundreds of thousands have been displaced due to intensified typhoons, flooding, and natural disasters. I also wanted to say that my heart is with the people of Mindanao and Cebu right now as they deal with the aftermath of an earthquake. And my silver lining this year is that these string of disasters might open up conversations on how we can address disasters here in the Philippines and how we can ensure different taxes and different sorry, I'm a bit nervous. It's been a while since I've talked on stage. So we can ensure that the proper resources go to those in need. I look forward to seeing you all on November 5th at Bocado, Manila, and maraming salamat po for joining us today.
Once again, Miss Earth Water, Bea Milan Wendorsky. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Iceland, Miss Earth Air, London Raven, Haraldsdottir. Miss Earth Air, Raven Haraldsdottir.
Listen to your voice, sing in the wind, feel a gentle touch in the golden sunlight. She was born to love, kiss our tears away, vanish all our fears.
Hi everyone! My name is Congratulatory and I'm your Miss Earth Air 2024. And I'm so honored to be here back in the Philippines once again. And I can't believe it's almost been a year. But being Miss Earth Air has been one of the greatest blessings in my life, and I'm so grateful to be here once again. And this year has been filled with so many opportunities. So many opportunities for advocating for our Earth, meeting new inspiring people from all around the world, and I couldn't be more grateful. This year is the 25th anniversary of Miss Earth, and I'm so honored to be a part of this big celebration. And I can't believe I'm here with my girls and meeting all the new Miss Earth delegates, and I really hope you all support them because I'm really excited to see them, and I hope you are as well. So thank you.
Once again, from Auckland, Miss Earth Air, Alvin Long Lakeland, and also here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Australia, Miss Earth International 2024, Miss Jessica Lane.
Jessica Lane is the first Aussie to win in decades and has returned home to begin a conservational crusade.
From Australia, Miss Earth International 2024, Miss Jessica Lane.
Listen to her voice, singing in the wind. Feel her gentle touch in the golden sunlight. She was born to love, kiss our tears away.
Mabuhay, Philippines! What an incredible honor it is to be on stage again with you all in a country that I hold so dear to my heart. First time I came to the Philippines was for Miss Earth 2024, and I can't believe that was a whole year ago already. And since then, what an incredible whirlwind it has been. I've had the incredible privilege of traveling to 12 countries. I'm not sure if you can see that. And they've all been an extraordinary experience. Working alongside empowering organizations like the United Nations has not only taught me to value our Earth and the people that call it home, but taught me the purpose of advocacy and inspiring others to create change. And that is why it is so incredible to be here with you all for not just any ordinary Miss Earth event, but for the 2025 Silver Lion. These 2025 delegates, their advocacies mean so much to all of us in this room today, and so much to me. And I cannot wait to see what they all bring to this incredible organization. Speaking of inspiring women, I'd love for these beautiful ladies to join us here on the stage. Please welcome the 2025 Elemental Chord.
Ladies and gentlemen, our reigning Miss Earth 2024 Queens.
Singing in the wind. Feel her gentle touch in the golden sunlight. She was born to love, kiss our tears away. That shoulder feels, fill the world with joy. She's gone.
open our media conference for our Miss Earth 2024 Queens. May I hear the energy of everybody here? Hi! Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, I'm Joy Mercado, Miss Philippines Earth 2025, and it is my distinct honor and privilege to have witnessed beauty, grace, and purpose right here on this very stage this afternoon. And it's my honor to welcome our esteemed guests for this afternoon, the Miss Earth 2024 Queens. And of course, it is also my honor to welcome our media friends for this afternoon. Hello to you. What a beautiful day it is for everybody. What a beautiful day it is for the Earth. And you know what? Unfortunately, Miss Earth Flyer Neva Antizana won't be able to join us today, but I hope you guys were able to hear her message that she shared this afternoon. And I'm sure that she'll be joining us in the future should we have another event for Miss Earth. But before anything else, we would like to thank our friends from Brain Project Management with its Chief Operations Officer, Ms. John Aquino, and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Paul Izan Reyes, for making today's event possible for everybody. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Ms. John Aquino and Mr. Paul Izan Reyes from Brain Project Management. Thank you very much for paving the way for Earth Queens to thrive this afternoon and to remain true to their purpose by spreading the message to the Earth. And now also I would like to give a highlight to one of the most beautiful faces we've seen on the pageant stage. We have here this afternoon joining us for our conference, Miss Earth Air 2016, Miss Michelle Gomez from Colombia. Surely we are joined by so many beautiful souls this afternoon for our media conference. And you know what? This year, the Philippines will host the silver anniversary of Miss Earth. And it is truly amazing to have you guys with us on that journey. How about a round of applause for Miss Earth organization on its 25th year silver anniversary? How amazing is that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, for 25 years, Miss Earth has already established and continues to uphold its advocacy of promoting environmental conservation and sustainability, climate action, and the protection of our planet by empowering women all over the world as their fierce and headstrong environmental warriors. Now, for its 25th anniversary, Miss Earth's theme is, as we all know, the silver lining holds a special relevance because it symbolizes hope and positivity that the organization continues to uphold among its global queens and member countries. Now, this beacon of inspiration and light should continue to illuminate even stronger during these challenging times, especially with the imminent threat of global calamities brought by environmental decadence and neglect. And aside from honoring Miss Earth's 25th anniversary, the legacy that has been living behind and continues to foster forward, its 25th anniversary celebration will also shine a spotlight on the Philippines as a global leader in environmental advocacy and ecotourism. As we host, as the Philippines host, this historic pageant spectacle, this landmark event will boost national pride and highlight the Philippines as a destination committed to environmental sustainability. And of course, the unparalleled success of Miss Earth can only be attributed to the men and women who have been working hard for the organization's global renown, and it's only fitting that we acknowledge them for their sterling leadership. We'd like to acknowledge the Miss Earth founder, Carousel Productions Incorporated President, Mr. Ramon Monzon. Miss Earth Executive Vice President, Miss Lorraine Shook. And of course, we are pleasured and we are actually honored to have been joined by her presence this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Peachy Meneracion. Truly dashing this afternoon, Tita Peachy. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we would like to acknowledge Sir Ramon and Ma'am Lorraine, even though they were able to join us this afternoon. Sure, the advocacy of Miss Earth truly remains within their hearts for continuing the legacy of Miss Earth organization for 25 long years. Now let's give a big round of applause for Miss Earth organization, ladies and gentlemen. What a great legacy they have been able to put forward, and this is a really great foundation for all the environmental warriors to carry on as we move on with our lives, and of course as we move forward with the advocacy that we would like our children, our future generations to carry forward. Now together with our reigning Miss Earth 2024 Queens, they will all be part of the much awaited silver anniversary presentation and coronation line to be held on November 5 at Okada, 2024 Media Conference. And this afternoon we'll get up close and personal with our three beautiful queens who were able to really carry the legacy of Miss Earth organization through their reign. And allow me to get comfortable on this chair right here as I welcome back on stage the three beautiful queens. Hello to you, Bea, Raven, of course, Miss Earth International 2024, Miss Jessica Lynn. Wow. I am truly amazed with what's happening here on this very stage. So we have here Bea, Raven, and Miss Jessica Lynn, our Miss Earth 2024. Alright, so we have here on stage ladies and gentlemen, we're back here for the Miss Earth Queens 2024 reigning queens. So we have here on stage for their media conference as we are joined by our media friends. And hello once again, Bea, Raven, and Miss Jessica Lynn, our Miss Earth International 2024. How are you ladies?
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Joy. I think I can speak for all of us when we say we're so happy to be back where we competed a year ago. And we're so excited to cheer on this next batch for the silver lining edition of Miss Earth.
That's right. I'm so happy for you guys. And I know that the Philippines really holds a very special place in your heart. You guys were crowned last year, November 9, and we're nearing to a year of reign that you guys have shared with the Miss Earth organization. Now, Raven, what can you say about the Philippines? How long have you been staying here?
It's been almost a week since I came here, and to be honest, it's one of my favorite countries I've ever visited. And I've traveled a lot. It's really different from Iceland. It's absolutely beautiful, and the culture, the people, everybody is so welcoming and nice, and it's gorgeous overall. And I'm really honored to be here again, and really grateful for all the warm welcomes I've gotten so far.
Well, welcome back to the Philippines, and we're also honored that you're here with us this afternoon. Now I'm going to move forward to asking our Miss Earth International 2024, Miss Jessica, upon our conversation backstage. You mentioned that you are one of the most traveled Miss Earth queens. How was the experience of being our Miss Earth?
Well, it's been absolutely incredible since I was a little girl, for as long as I can remember really. Traveling and protecting the environment has been all I've cared about. I didn't know where that would take me career-wise, so Miss Earth really came about at the right time. But despite all the travels, I have to say the Philippines has a very, very special place in my heart. As you mentioned, it is where we were coronated last year, and the people, the culture, not to mention the food, come on guys, you see that buffet over there. But coming here is like coming home. And it's a bittersweet moment coming back to crown the next Miss Earth 2025. But hopefully we'll be back again very shortly after that.
Well, thank you. And you know what, I'd like to give highlight to what you said, that you didn't really know what career you would like take on if not for Miss Earth, but it really seems to everybody here that you're made for the Earth. You're made to be a queen. So congratulations. What a very well spent reign for you, and thank you for the legacy you're leaving behind. But now I'm going to move forward to Bea over here. We all know that you are also Filipina. So how has Philippines been treating you so far?
I just moved here 2 months ago, and it's been a really fantastic opportunity to continue my advocacy work. Last year in the intelligence round, I mentioned that advocacy is not a trend, it's a lifestyle for me and will extend far past the crown. So now I've actually been working in strategic communications for various nonprofits and social impact organizations all around the world for my career, as well as pursuing some modeling, because I think Filipino fashion and creativity is such an untapped potential here, and I'm really lucky to be part of showcasing that Filipino talent.
And thank you also for bringing your talent to the Philippines. And as we all know, Bea is also active when it comes to social issues here in the Philippines. So you're truly a Filipino, not just by race, but also by heart. And thank you as well for sharing your kindness to the typhoon victims in La Union, which is also your hometown, which you mentioned before. So thank you very much. And of course, welcome home, Bea. Now we're going to move forward to Raven. Raven, you've just been here a week, but I'm so curious. How did you spend your reign as a Miss Earth Air?
My reign as Miss Earth Air has been an absolute dream come true. And I'm really happy that I got to do it with my girls. Couldn't be luckier. But my reign has been filled with opportunities with environmental action, and I've been spending my time mostly at home in Iceland doing my studies and also planting trees, spreading awareness, and really trying to use my reign as much as possible. I've also traveled a lot. I went to Belgium with my girl, Jessica, and we went to the Miss Exclusive, and we had a great time. We visited cleanups and tried to do our best to stay active and spread awareness. And now I'm here at the Philippines again. Oh yeah, and I also went to Africa. On a safari trip. It was incredible, especially being reserved there where you're really connected with nature, really connected with what's happening to our earth. It was amazing to get a little getaway in the nature, seeing something new, seeing all the wilderness, and I was really happy.
Well, I feel the radiance, I feel the happiness, just like the stories you're telling us. And it's really a proof that beauty, advocacy, and purpose can really go hand in hand with what you just shared with us. So thank you very much for that. And I'm also going to ask the same thing to Miss Earth, Miss Jessica. How was your reign? What is the most unforgettable thing about your reign?
The easy answer would definitely be the impact of nature in travels. I've had the incredible opportunity in USA with lovely Bayer of speaking with the UN, which is a dream come true for me, and part of the reason I joined CERN in the first place. In my homeland Australia, I've had the honour of being on international and national news, representing ocean advocacy, and teaching over, I think it's around 300,000 school students at a festival. That's incredible. In every country, I've tried to plant a tree, so that everywhere we go, we know that we're trying to offset our carbon emissions just that little bit, but create a positive change for our earth. That would certainly be the easy answer and the one that I expect people to understand, but honestly, make the friends and the people made along the way. You might see it on social media, how often we hang out and how much fun we have, and it might look like it's all for the show, but honestly, I didn't know that such beautiful women who wanted to get up on stage in fancy gowns would have such drive, purpose, and intelligence. I have no doubt that every woman who comes to this earth stage has the capability to change the world, and I can't wait to see them do that.
Well, you're the embodiment of that. You are our Miss Earth for a reason. Thank you very much for that, Jessica. Now, Bea, it's been known to everybody that you're staying here in the Philippines, but I'd like to know, how did Miss Earth strengthen your personal advocacies? Because we all know that you have been advocating for the Earth even when you're still in the U.S. So how did Miss Earth change your perspective when it comes to life, when it comes to advocacies that you're pushing forward, and when it comes to the things that you're doing for the Earth?
Yes, 100%. Miss Earth has helped me garner an international platform to talk about climate displacement and the need to fully define who a climate refugee is. Despite a projected 200 million people being displaced by the impacts of climate change by 2050, 40 million of which being here in the Philippines, it's really necessary that we start having real conversations about how to address climate change, but also how to adapt and thrive. I really enjoy the opportunity to live here because I'm working hand in hand directly with climate displaced communities, whereas in the US we're kind of isolated from the impacts of climate change. So I feel as if I'm making more of an impact here. And additionally, I'm so grateful to have the Miss Earth Water title, growing up partially in La Union, growing up partially on the Great Lakes in the US. Because honestly, being completely frank, it was quite difficult for me to represent the U.S. right after we voted to roll back 1 million environmental protections, after we voted to disenfranchise refugee and immigrant voices. So I'm so blessed to have this international platform now to not only call for change in my country, but for us to come together as a global community and to address the refugee climate crisis.
Well, thank you for using your voice to rally for causes that you believe would really change the landscape when it comes to environmentalism and really changing how we see and perceive the Earth. Thank you for your service, Bea. Now, I'm going to go back to Raven. Raven, you're back in Manila. I'd like to know, were there any things that you were able to accomplish last year that you would like to continue this year?
Well, here in Manila. Well, in the Philippines last year, I didn't get to see a beach. And I think it's ridiculous. I went to the Philippines but didn't get to go to a really excited for those of this time. I'm also really excited just to see all the delegates and be inspired by them, because if you're competing on Miss Earth, you definitely have the brains for it, and you're definitely here. And I can't wait to meet all these girls and all these amazing women.
Are you allowed to share to everybody which beach are you eyeing to go to in the Philippines?
Well, I'm really hoping to go to Boracay.
Ooh.
My parents went there last year while they're waiting for me, so yeah, I'm really excited.
We know you'll enjoy it. Our media friends were able to go there, I know for sure, because I've seen some of your photos during some of the pageant coverages, so I'm sure that you're also going to enjoy that. So looking forward to seeing your photos on your Instagram and hopefully see your beauty and your enjoyment in the beautiful islands of Boracay. So looking forward to that. Now, Jessica, I'm going to move on to you because I'm getting so giddy and excited with Raven's future travel in Boracay. Now, some of our past queens have decided to stay here in the Philippines. Please allow me to acknowledge, of course, Miss Michelle. She's been staying here in the Philippines for too long now. One of our Earth queens as well. And also Miss Bea. I know she decided to stay here in the Philippines as well. Do you have any plans to stay longer in the Philippines or maybe settle here in the future?
I absolutely do.
No pressure, but we love that answer.
I have fallen in love with the Philippines. It's become a second home. I've had the incredible opportunity to come back several times this year. And as soon as we touched down in Manila, I realized that I hadn't come back since April. And that broke my heart. And that's not that long in the span of things. So I know that if I spend too long away from Manila, too long away from the beautiful Philippines, so I'll definitely be back as soon as I can. And exciting career opportunities are involved in that. But we'll just wait and see.
Don't worry, if you come back here in Philippines, we'll be holding a banner for Miss Jessica Lane right outside the airport. So we'll be looking forward to see you back here in the beautiful islands of the Philippines. Thank you for that. Now we're going to move over to the fact that you guys are going to be relinquishing your crowns on November 5, and that is less than a month away. And I know for sure that you guys aren't ready yet to give away your crown, pass it on to another responsible head that will carry the responsibility of being Miss Earth. But I'd also like to know, what are your plans after relinquishing your crown? Bea.
I am actually studying for the law school admissions exams here in the Philippines because I'm really intent on continuing my environmental advocacy work, but in a legal capacity. Here in the Philippines, there's so many beautiful natural resources that we need to protect. However, some of my friends who are into mountaineering have mentioned that they see trails being impacted due to mismanagement of our resources. Additionally, my hometown of San Juan La Union, we have a bouncing back turtle population, but it takes active involvement and also policy changes to ensure that these endangered species stay here in the Philippines. So I'm really excited to not only be here in my capacity as a former beauty queen and a model, but also hopefully as a future lawyer.
Well, it's going to be really a challenge for the next Miss Earth Water to continue the legacy you're leaving behind, because even after relinquishing your crown, you already have plans to continue your advocacy for the Earth, and good luck with the admission test. So we're looking at a future lawyer, so I'm going to call you Attorney Bea from now on. So now, Raven, I'd also like to know, what are your plans after you pass on your crown to the next rightful queen?
Well, my plans include continuing my studies. I just started studying chemical engineering, and it's just a thing that I want to try out. But I'm still going to continue going to school, spreading awareness about our environment, because we live in beautiful Iceland where we have such a pristine and beautiful nature, and children nowadays don't really know the effect climate change has on our country and on the world overall. So I'm still going to continue doing that as I did before Miss Earth, and going to school, spreading awareness, and just teaching them what we are doing and how we can change and how a small action we can do will make a difference. So I will still definitely be doing that, continue my studies, and hopefully travel more soon.
Good luck on your studies, and I hope that you travel more here in the Philippines. You have a lot of beautiful places to offer to you, so I hope to see you back here more often, and good luck again on your chemical engineering. That's actually so interesting, so good luck with that, our future engineer. And now, on to the Queen, Miss Jessica. What are your plans after you crown the next Miss Earth?
I'm actually gonna run away with the crown. I never want to give it up.
Oh no, please don't.
If I could, I'd be Miss 2024 forever. But I plan on honestly not changing the lifestyle that much. I am still studying at the University of Sunshine Coast, a double degree in journalism, creative writing and publishing, majoring in sustainability. And I will graduate next year. That's been a long journey. And in the meantime, I hope to come back here as often as I can and relive this particular moment that I had during composition. My advocacy has always been dress for tomorrow, promoting sustainable fashion. Because, as I'm sure most of you are aware, fast fashion is responsible for nearly 10% of CO2 bills. If every person just chose to make a daily action of shopping sustainably and putting recycled, reused, or reinvented items into their wardrobe, we can save the planet. This is something I've continued to advocate for my whole life. And after the intelligence round last year, a student at the university messaged me on Instagram and said, I had no idea. I'm so inspired by that, I'll never shop fast fashion again. This was one student in one place at one time, and that stayed with me forever. And I hope to just continue promoting sustainability to show people that beauty doesn't have to come at the cost of our planet, and we can continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love that. Beauty doesn't have to come at the cost of our planet. And since you've mentioned that you have been advocating for sustainability, that it has been incorporated even in your studies, that is actually an impressive thing to carry to the Miss Earth stage. And that's why I now understand why you were crowned as our Miss Earth. You are truly made for this platform, and you are truly made for this. Imagine changing one life, one student, for that one message. And imagine if, since now you have been to different countries and different places, how many lives were you able to change in just a span of a year? So I'm just so grateful, and I'm so happy to share with you that you are always and going to be forever a Miss Earth Queen, even without a physical crown on your head, because you have already carried the crown within your heart. So thank you very much, Jessica. And now, before we move on to our next Q&A portion, which is with our media friends, I'd like to ask, do you have any congratulatory message to Miss Earth? Because we are now celebrating our 25th anniversary, 25 long years of dedication and commitment to environmental conservation and preservation. Would you guys have any thank you and congratulatory message to Miss Earth organization?
Absolutely. I would like to speak briefly to my history with pageantry, which is next to none. I did not understand the power that this platform had for young women. In fact, there is no other platform in the world that enables young women who may not have a degree yet, who may not have a career pathway yet, to step outside their comfort zone and not only make incredible, empowering friends from across the world, but to genuinely create change for what they are passionate about. Our delegates, each of them had unique and different advocacies, and from each of them I learned something different and learned how I can change the world around me. This is so incredible and empowering, and in a day and age of climate anxiety, where young people are told there's nothing they can do about it, that they just have to suffer the consequences of the people who came before us, it can be scary. But Miss Earth opens doors for incredible young women to not only grow as intelligent and like-minded, passionate individuals, but to truly create tangible change. So to Miss Earth and their 25th anniversary, congratulations on changing the world.
Thank you, Jessica. Do you have anything to share about Miss Earth, and do you have any message for Miss Earth organization?
I want to congratulate Miss Earth, Tita Lauren, and the almost entirely women-run organization on founding a pageant focused on environmental advocacy and addressing climate change before the term climate change was even popularized. 25 years ago was before Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth. It was before we were having these large-scale discussions on climate change. And it's important to point out that's because the realities of climate change are here in the Philippines. How perfect is it that we're having these conversations in a country so deeply impacted by intensified natural disasters, showing girls from all around the world, including global north countries like the US, Australia, Iceland, where we don't see those impacts firsthand, so that we can take those lessons back home and apply them there. I'm so excited that we're welcoming another 80+ candidates that will join the sisterhood, because Miss Earth is truly a ripple effect of change. There are hundreds of girls all around the world who are continuing their advocacies because of the Miss Earth organization, and I look forward to supporting this organization in the next 25 years years and the next 25 years after that.
Thank you so much, Thea. What a heartwarming message that was, and what a reassuring thing to say to everybody here that is advocating for the earth, making sure that we still have environmental warriors that are really, really serious and committed when it comes to this. So thank you. And now, Raven, on to you. What would be your message to the organization, having been able to work with them for the past year and having been able to be an advocate of the earth for so long?
Well, first of all, congratulations. This is a huge achievement. 25 years is a long time, and I cannot describe with my own words how grateful I am of this organization, this pageant. This has truly changed my life, and I know it has changed so many others' lives. And I'm so grateful that we have a pageant in this world that advocates for so important things. And having something that is called our environment, coming from Iceland, we live in a perfect world. Nature is beautiful. It's just pristine, beautiful nature, and I didn't even know about this pageant 10 years ago, and learning about this pageant and learning about the importance of it and being able to do something, and it's really inspiring, and it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to so many other women and so many people all around this world. So congratulations for making such a successful organization. I'm really proud of you guys.
Thank you very much, Raven. Again, congratulations to all the ladies that we have here on stage. Miss Earth 2024. Please, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What truly intelligent ladies we have here on stage. And congratulations as well to Miss Earth organization for celebrating their 25th year stronger and more dedicated than ever. Now, I know our media friends are now eager and very excited to ask our queens some questions regarding their experiences, their journey on Miss Earth. But before that, let's take a quick break.
Ginawa mo yung Natasha.
gentlemen, we're back for our Miss Earth Queens for the 2024 edition media conference. And now, since I'm being joined by ever beautiful queens of the 2024 edition of Miss Earth, we're also joined by the beautiful presence of our esteemed and lovely guests for this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Miss Earth 2004, Miss Priscilla Morales. Wow, so beautiful. Looking like she was just crowned up yesterday. Ever so gorgeous. Hello once again, Miss Priscilla Morales, our Miss Earth 2004. And also joining us this afternoon is Miss Charm, hailing from Germany for the 2022 edition of Miss Charm Germany. We have Miss Louisa Falls. Beautiful, beautiful people. Again, hello to Miss Strong Germany 2025, Miss Louisa Moss. We're grateful for the presence that you are sharing with everybody. Very vibrant look, very vibrant energy, and it's so gorgeous. And speaking of gorgeous, we're back here on stage for our Miss Earth 2024 Queens for the media conference. And now Jessica, Bea, and Raven, I know that you have done this so many times, doing so many media interviews, but this time it's going to be different because we are leaning towards asking our media friends from the Philippines to ask you questions about your experiences, your journey, and I'm sure it's completely different from how you guys did last year when they were still asking you guys what will you guys do if you were going to be crowned, and now it's a completely different story. So hello ladies and gentlemen, especially to our media friends, we're now opening the floor of questions for our Miss Earth 2024 queens here. Now for our media friends, if you are going to ask our queens here on stage, kindly say your name and your media affiliation before asking the question. And maybe just request that you ask the queen maximum of 2 questions so we can give everybody ample time. Enough questions for our queens here to share the thoughts and experiences with everybody. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin the media conference. We have our microphone over here. Kindly approach the microphone. There we have it.
Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Arvin Adina. I'm representing the Philippine Daily Inquirer. My first question goes to our reigning Mr. Jessica Lane. I'd like to know, what is your message to global leaders who, up to now, are still denying the existence of climate change?
Lovely to meet you, and what a fantastic question. I always love starting it off with a bang. Now, it's interesting that you say up to now because in some parts of the world, people are still denying it, which I find absolutely gobsmacking. I appreciate the optimism, and hopefully that will change very soon. But to people, particularly political leaders who are still finding it difficult to accept the changing climate and the impact that that will have within our lifetime, I just have to say, please listen. Actually to your ears, because there are people all around the world, not only scientists who are accurate in their representation, in their finding, who have the truth to display how this will impact our lives, but to the youth whose futures it will impact. Most of the time the political leaders who are denying this might not see in their lifetime how it will impact them. But in my travels, I've met with so many young people who are advocating for change. I've spoken with the United Nations Youth Program in Indonesia, where hundreds of young people, not only in science degrees, but in communication and education majors, spoke out against climate change and against the impact that their country was facing. And these people would not be coming together if it wasn't for true change. So I just implore those leaders, I urge them to please listen to the young people whose future you are impacting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. My next question will go to either Ray or Raven to answer this. What qualities do you hope to find in the coming Miss Earth delegates?
Well, what quality I really like to see is somebody who is with purpose and who is ready to speak up and really using their voice and not to be dramatic, but they kind of have to stand up to her. Have you heard her speak? So I would really like them to use their voice and really have a real advocacy that they really advocate for and stand up for.
and yeah, just have a purpose and have something that I talk about. Thank you.
Something that I would also look for that we see in Queen Jessica is an ability to connect with a multitude of audiences. We all know that Miss Earth Queens are smart. We all know that all of our delegates do have an advocacy that they care about, but it's about connecting with people to make them care. And that's something that's really inspired me about Justice Reign, and something that I hope to bring in my communications working for nonprofits is not only communicating the information, but doing so in a way that connects to people's hearts.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on an awesome, and I wish you all the best after you pass on your friends.
Thank you very much, Alvin from the Philippines. I have to apologize to girls. I told you our media will be asking about your experiences, but it turns out it's going to be another final Q&A round for you guys. So be ready.
Hello, I'm from Nerd.
You look amazing. Beautiful tie. Can I buy one from you?
Welcome back again to the Philippines. I have one question only for the three of you, please. So what's your most fulfilling mission so far as Miss Earth Queen? So let's start with...
Can I say me to you right now? Because I'm inspired. Seriously, we have a camera on this thing, right? My goodness, this entire year has been fulfilling. As I mentioned earlier, since I was a little girl, all I wanted to do was travel and make a difference in the environment. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to do that. I think a moment that really stands out to me personally is I had this experience at the start of the year where I went to a beach cleanup. I won't disclose where, but it was somewhere that urgently needed a beach cleanup. And I was there with lots of children, most of which under the age of 10. And we were having so much fun, having a great time. And after a short amount of time, I realized that they were struggling to identify the difference between natural and man-made waste because of how much waste was on their beach. A plastic bag shell was the same to them because no one educated them, no one inspired them to clean up or taught them the difference. And this broke my heart. But instead of sitting there feeling sorry for myself or sorry for the planet, I made up a story showing the difference between the waste that you put into the bowl, which is your responsibility to clean up, and the beautiful shells and leaves that wash up naturally on the beach. I think that storytelling is an empowering way to make people fall in love with the earth, which I think is all any of us try to do. And I hope to continue this legacy after.
Thank you. Now me asking Bea, or what is the most fulfilling part of your journey as Miss Earth Water?
Actually, one of the most impactful experiences I had is partially thanks to Joy, who connected me with an environmental group she's a part of. And it was so inspiring to join my fellow kababayan on the day of protest against corruption here in the Philippines. Living here now, I've realized how inextricably linked politics is with the environment, and how necessary it is to enact real reform in order to not only save our planet, but make it livable for future generations. I was brought to tears seeing thousands of people from all walks of life turn up to the Napa Park to not only call for but demand a brighter, greener, and more sustainable future. And I feel blessed to have this platform to advocate for continued action, to write letters to your members of Congress, to your representatives, to make sure that this isn't an issue that just goes away after one protest. A protest only calls attention to an issue, but it's that sustained reaction that causes real, tangible change.
Thank you for that. And wow, what a powerful message that is. Now, Raven, what has been the most fulfilling experience for you during your Miss Earth reign?
Well, during my Miss Earth Air reign, it was definitely when I got back home from Iceland and I gathered all the pageant girls in Iceland. We have a small pageant community, but there's a lot of really smart, beautiful girls in this pageant community in Iceland, and I get them up and work for a non-profit organization to clean up a street on a national Clean Up Street Day. And it was just so fun to have all these girls who usually wear these glam dresses, have their makeup and hair done, just going there, picking up trash around with everybody. And Iceland's such a small community, so I know a couple of them were nervous about getting judged or somebody seeing them. But if you really care for the environment, you don't care about everything. And I think most of us should just do what really matters for us. And I really hope that we stand our environment and our earth.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Ethan, do you have more questions for the girls?
Last question, can I have your autograph later for this?
Only if we can have yours.
Thank you guys, we love you so much.
Thank you very much for that. Wow. A great start for our Q&A, for our media conference, for our Miss Earth 2024 Queens. Now, do we have any more friends from the media who would like to ask questions? And these are beautiful, intelligent girls. Some questions about our rain, about our experiences with Miss Earth. You know, it's really going to be hard for our media friends to ask you questions because you guys have been spending so fast, so much experiences just right from one question. Imagine how hard is that for our media friends to encapsulate a thought and question for you guys. You're knowing that you have been speaking up for the earth for how many years? And now, do you have any more friends? Yes, over there. Can you state your name and your affiliation, please?
Hello, hi Queens, mabuhay, and welcome back to the Philippines. My name is Jojo Mabalis, representing the Philippine pageant. My question first is for Miss Jessica. How has your life changed since winning the title Miss Earth 2024?
Lovely to meet you, and what a fantastic question, thank you. My life has changed in terms of my reachability. Since I was young, the climate change, deforestation of human greed has really hit my heart hard. I remember at probably 3 years old, bawling my eyes out, inconsolably crying to my parents after I learned what deforestation was. And I'm sure my father was a bit sick of the years of the state, but he taught me a lesson that really stayed with me, and that is that every person, no matter what walk of life they come from, has a circle of concern, control, and influence, and that they need to use that to their greatest advantage. Now, my circle of concern was clearly the environment, and my circle of influence was so small. I was just a little kid growing up in Australia. I had no power. This earth has given me a voice that I've always dreamed of. It has given me the opportunity to reach people across the world and inspire them to fall in love with our planet just as I always have. And it's empowered me to meet incredible people who are making change in their daily lives and who are empowering other people to do so. I believe that every day I've been this earth, I've learned a valuable lesson, not only on how to protect our environment, but how to communicate better to anyone across the world, and how to show them that we truly can live a more sustainable life and reduce the impact of climate change. That it's not too late, and that all of us can make a difference. It's been an incredible journey, and I'll bring every lesson I learned with me. Thank you so much.
For our other two queens, recently the Philippines was hit by a numerous earthquake. So my question is, how do you plan to inspire young people to take action for the environment?
As I said in my opening remarks, maybe a silver lining from this string of natural calamities is that we can communicate more about disaster preparedness, the necessity of having a go kit for when an earthquake might hit, and also about ongoing discussions of how resources are distributed here in the Philippines, ensuring that our communities are made safer, because Manila is actually the chair of the UN Loss and Damages Fund, and this is money coming in from all around the world for countries like the Philippines to adequately address the impacts of climate change and intensified natural disasters. But we need transparency and we need civilian engagement to ensure that these funds are properly allocated and go to the communities who need it the most. So I hope that our silver lining can be working hand in hand, both the private, public, political, and civic sectors to ensure a brighter and more equitable future for all Filipinos.
Thank you. Would you also like to ask the same question to Raven? Raven, what would be your message to encourage you to take care of the environment?
We need to stand together. And when a natural disaster happens, it's absolutely terrifying. But we need to come together, educate each other, and hold hand in hand, like Bea said. It was really good to say. And just be together, rely on each other, and be able to rely on. Also educate and trying to do as much as you can possible, even small action matters.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Joshua, for that. Thank you for your question again for Philippine pageantry. Next up, we have another friend from the media. Hi.
Hello. My question is somehow related to it. So, at one point in your life, have you experienced a natural disaster, like an earthquake, inundation, forest fire? And if so, how can you connect that to your platform with the Miss Earth organization?
What a fantastic question, and certainly relevant here and now. A lot of people have this perception in Australia that we aren't directly impacted by climate change, and that's absolutely understandable given that we are so massive and that there's a lot of space for people to run when things get bad. But where I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, the last 5 years in a row, we haven't had a summer. We've had a natural disaster. When I was traveling Europe for the first time at 16, I was just backpacking by myself. I had people on the street come up to me and say, "Is your family okay?" Because my whole home was burning to the ground in bushfires. That hasn't stopped. Every year, our summer, so when Christmas is either bushfire or flooding, and there hasn't been a break. This is a direct impact of climate change. My youth was not like this, we had beautiful summers. And unfortunately, one of the bushfire seasons, about 2 years ago, I was working as a disability support worker in a client's house. This client wasn't able to move on their own. They needed full hand support, and this bushfire was going to cut off the only accessible road to their home. Luckily, the bushfire didn't spread, and we were able to get out safely, but this encouraged me to write to local politicians and ensure that when communities are being built, when housing establishments for the disabled are being built, that they ensure there is accessibility, because if I wasn't there, and if the bushfire hadn't spread, many people would have lost their lives. Holding politicians and building communities and construction organisations accountable for the housing establishments to encourage protection during climate crisis is something that we need in Australia, and based on what I've learned from this empowering individuals sitting next to me, there's absolutely something we need to do. So I think just staying together, reaching out to those who actually have the power to make change and imploring them to do so is so important.
Thank you, Jessica. Bea, have you ever experienced any calamities or disaster that have really impacted you or your family, that really changed your perspective when it comes to taking care of the earth?
A quote, actually from Twitter, that really resonated with me is that climate change will manifest itself as a series of disasters viewed through a phone screen that are closer and closer to you until you're the one filming it. And it's easy to feel in the US, where I grew up, Wisconsin, that climate change would never impact us because we sit right on the Great Lakes, we have winters with snow, we have beautiful summers, but every single place I've lived has been impacted by flooding. This summer, Milwaukee, my hometown, faced flooding that swept away people's cars, their houses. Most recently too, in La Union, there was Typhoon Amon that really impacted my family's business as well. And of course, we feel climate change more acutely here in the Philippines, but it's necessary to use this platform to communicate to the global audience that if it's not you now, it's unfortunately going to be you next. And it's all in our best interests to come together as humanity to advocate for not only our environment, but for our children.
Thank you, Bea. Raven, anything you would like to share to everybody here this afternoon?
Well, even though I grew up in Iceland where we don't really see climate change, it doesn't really affect us, even though it really does. And I grew up with a tragic story always swearing over my family. And when my mom was 16 years old, she lived in a really small town, and there was snow elements that is directly connected to climate change, and that killed over 20 people. And it really affected her because there were only maybe 300 people who lived in that town. So it really affected her and my family, and growing up with this tragic story bearing over us, it really changed my view of life and climate change. And knowing these things that make us straight connected to climate change, and we really need to take these as awareness and act up together.
you, Raven. And thank you, everybody, for sharing that stories. And you know what's really evident in this flood sharing with the media? It's not really important if you experience a calamity or disaster firsthand. What's really important is to know that it's happening around the world, to recognize that natural calamities are coming in and out of several countries. We are experiencing it, and climate change is real. And knowing that fact, how we as individuals should make our individual actions to really rally for the betterment of our world and the betterment of the future generations, so for them to still have an earth to live on. Thank you very much. And do we have more questions for our readers? Yes, sir.
Hello, Queens. This is also for the startup. Modesty aside, I have covered this Earth pageant since its first edition, including the Vietnam edition. My question is for Bea and Raven. How can you convince young girls from your respective country in joining Miss Earth USA and Miss Earth Iceland, eventually in Miss Earth pageant?
That's a fantastic question because I feel like there's been ongoing conversations in the US and around the world of what really is the relevance of pageantry and is it demeaning to women? And to those people, I'd say that Miss Earth has transformed my life in ways that I could have never imagined because it's given me a platform that I never would have had to advocate to world leaders on the issues of climate displacement and the need for an international and standardized definition of who a climate refugee is. Before joining Miss Earth USA, I actually was applying to PhD programs and was hoping to go into academia and somehow make a change that way. But by being blessed with this public-facing platform, I've been able to impact so many more people. And I would encourage those young girls to recognize that if you want your voice heard, there are so many ways to do it. But if you feel that pageantry has a pull for you, it's a really fantastic opportunity to do so in a very public-facing way. Additionally, Miss Earth USA has brought in so many important conversations on climate change and protecting our environment in a time when we really need it. Unfortunately, in the public sector, there's been rollbacks of funding for the Environmental Protection Agency. So it's on private partnerships like Miss Earth USA with nonprofits across the country to really provide those essential services and to promote those conversations on environmental protection.
Well, thank you for the question. Miss Earth Iceland has truly changed my life, and I wouldn't be here today if I wouldn't have joined. And it's just, I'm so grateful for having the opportunity being from Iceland, coming from this beautiful country where we are one of the most sustainable countries in the world. And being able to talk about it, being able to show our country, being proud of my country, being sustainable, and showing others that if we can do it, others can do it. And that's why I tell the girls in Iceland why I should join Miss Earth Iceland is because we get this most lifetime opportunity to talk about our beautiful country. There's no other pageant like this. There's no other pageant that you will be able to talk about the country the way Miss Earth does. So being Miss Earth Iceland is something that I think most of the girls in Iceland should at least consider and at least look into, because it's not all about the plan. It's more about the voice and the dreams and what you have to say.
For Jessica, what makes you proud for being a Miss Earth title holder and crown?
I have to say everyone, can I? That is a difficult one, to be honest with you, because my life has changed so much in the past year, and that I feel like one day someone's going to pinch me and it's all a dream. It's been so incredible to meet so many empowering people along the way and to realize that change is possible. I think a lot of us in this generation grew up believing that we're just going to watch the world burn through a phone first and then right in front of our eyes. And this platform has shown me that everyone wants to change. Everyone wants to create a greener, more sustainable tomorrow. They just need to be taught how and empowered to make that decision. I can't limit my answer into one simple statement, I'm afraid, because it truly has been the experience of a lifetime, and I could not recommend it to anyone more. I feel as though I've developed so much as an empowered change maker and as a conversationalist and as a friend who's learned that everyone comes from different walks of life but all wants the same thing. They want a sustainable earth. So to wear this crown is a dream come true, and I just can't wait to see that legacy continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that, and thank you so much for your service. Having been able to cover the Miss Earth International pageant since its inception. Wow. Thank you for your commitment. And now we have our leader friend over here. Hello to you.
I just have one question for you. This year is celebrating its anniversary, and is there any particular time or instances during your reign that you stop and say, you stop, reflect, and say, thank you, Mr. for the platform that I was able to do this, not just for myself, for my country, and for the party.
Wow, that is such a sentimental question. I'm going to give you guys a moment to think about that. Again, from John Ray, was there any moment during your reign that you were, just took a moment to yourself and realized, wow, I have been given a big responsibility by Miss Earth, and I'm so grateful for it. Jessica?
It's a very similar question, but I can't say everything. Every day has been a blessing. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world. To be honest, the day that comes to mind was at the start of the year here in the Philippines at Advocacy in this beautiful school that I went to, and I just gave a speech about sustainability, the importance of taking care of one another, and in turn taking care of our environment. And the kids were amazing. They all were so passionate. They all asked really intelligent questions. Some questions that even stumped me, and I'd like to think they're very passionate and well-educated on environmental issues. But these kids were so inspired, so driven. And as I left the school, this was a secondary school of about 2,000 people, all of them ran out of their class, despite their teachers holding them back, just to give me something to sign, to take a photo, to hold my hand, and to ask me, what can I do to make the world a better place? And I watch that video back whenever I'm feeling like it's just a bit too hard to change the earth, to protect our beautiful mother nature. I watch that video back repeatedly and just realize that everybody wants to, and they are all driven and motivated and excited, and they just want to look up to someone who makes them believe it's possible. That was probably the best day of my life.
Thank you for that. Ooh, I can only imagine the feeling, having seen all that children running up to you and saying that you have changed their perspective when it comes to Earth. Mind-blowing. Thank you. Bea, was there any moment that you realized, oh, wow, I can change the world?
Thinking about it, I'm trying not to cry because it's with my family and my mom, who sacrificed so much along with my grandparents to immigrate to the United States. And when I was giving my step-down speech and walk for Miss Earth USA, my mom actually came up on stage and hugged and we're crying. And I'm teary-eyed now thinking about it because there are so many families like mine who immigrated to the United States, who go there seeking a better life, hoping to build a better future for their family. And the policies adopted in my home country are unfortunately targeting those very same people. So I'm thankful to the Miss Earth organization that, especially during the hashtag, I was given the hashtag family, and I had the opportunity to say, immigrants, refugees, undocumented people, we are all America, and we're the people who make up the United States, who built that country, and that hopefully we can bring that worldwide and recognize that we're all humans who just want to build a better future for our children.
Sharing such a heartwarming and really opened our eyes when it comes to value, vision, and looking at the word family. Genre, you're making Miss Dea cry. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for reminding everybody here that despite the differences when it comes to race, when it comes to beliefs, ideologies, everybody is a citizen of the earth. We are all families when it comes to being an earthling. So thank you for being a good reminder of that. And we're just so happy that you are now in a safe place. Your family was able to build a better life for your family. And hopefully, you know, in America, we can also build a better life for all, despite of race. Anyway, whew, I love that. Very powerful moment for everybody here on stage. Raven, John Ray is asking, was there any moment during your reign that you realized that, wow, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and I was given this moment?
I think about the day when I visited back my hometown, and we have a small hometown, and there are only about 300 people who live there. And we have this beautiful white sand beach, and I've never had the encouragement to really stand up and gather people together to do these cleanup. Finally, as being Miss Earth Air, I talked to my parents, and I was like, why have I never done this before? Like, why have we never? I mean, I've gone there with my dad, my mom, and have like small piece of cleanup, but I've never gathered people together from a small town and had a piece of cleanup together. So I did that, and it was incredible, and I really looked at myself like, wow, I wouldn't have the braveness to do that before this earth, and this earth is really making who I am.
Wow. Ooh, everybody's now on tears on this very stage. Genre, you have to ask us a very happy question next because you're making our queens cry here. But it's very evident here on stage that this earth is really changing not just the earth but also the lives of the queens that were being given an opportunity here to carry the crown, to carry the legacy. So thank you so much. I could have not worded this out any better, but thank you for your service. Thank you for dedicating your lives to the earth and for dedicating it to changing also the perspective of the younger generation to also take care of the earth the way that you guys do. So thank you so much for that. And Genre, thank you for your question. I hope you can sleep well at night knowing that you made 3 queens cry here on the stage. Anyway, so thank you. Any more questions? Yes?
Joy, and of course our Miss Earth 2024 Queens. Of course, we're celebrating the 25th Silver Lining Anniversary edition. How do you envision Miss Earth 10 years from now or 25 years from now? Lola na ako mo.
Well, I think, thank you for your question, since asking about maybe. There's currently a lot of talk on the internet, on social media about pageant's relevance, and like everyone in this room, I'm sure is a big pageant fan, we see the drama, we see the negativity, but we don't see that with ourselves. We see nothing but empowered women. I know, I see the Instagram comments, and something I get quite often, I love this session, you guys in the room right now, but I see unbothered queens. I love that. We are all here because we're unbothered. We want to make a difference. We want to empower people to create change, and we want to protect the earth. Yes, we get to put on gorgeous dresses, have sessions for the first time, and look great while doing it. But ultimately, we are driving for change. We are here to empower people to be sustainable. So over the next 25 years, and ideally the 25 years after that, I hope to see the entire pageant landscape change, empowered by Miss Earth. For 25 years now, Gita Lorraine and Gita Peachy have been changing the industry. The people that have joined them have been changing pageant mindset. We've been empowering people daily to make sustainable choices to protect our earth. I believe that if they continue doing that and continue prioritizing advocacy above all else, that not only can we change the earth, but we can change an industry that prioritizes empowering women. So I think a good 25 years ago.
Nice answer. Mama Edge, what can you say about that?
We're actually on Educology. My next question is, Jessica, what can you say about our Miss Philippines are joining our talk? What do you think of our chances of audition?
Wala na. Wala na.
No, okay, she's nice. Before I knew who Joy was, like, I've seen you on social media, but
I knew who she was, I thought, my girl, you are gorgeous, and I love your voice. The audio playing our names, that wasn't a pre-recorded audio, guys. That was her. I thought someone had like generated AI or Siri or something. Girl has power and conviction, and beauty is important, but the ability to motivate people to create change, that is what makes Miss Earth unique, and that is what makes a true queen. And I hope you're not doing the delegates together.
Thank you. I have been blessed by the queen. Thank you very much. Thank you also, Mama Ed, for putting you on the hot seat, and also Miss Jessica. But thank you. I love that. I love that message. I'm so privileged. I'm so honored. Thank you for that. Now, on to our next media friend. Hello to you.
Good afternoon. I'm Fred from Pageant Fanatics. My first question goes to Ms. Jessica. So, as Miss Earth Queens, how would you promote the Philippines still as a viable international pageant venue, despite the numerous calamities happening in this country?
Hi, Fred. Nice to meet you. I think I can't imagine going to a pageant anywhere else but the Philippines. Something that I knew before I even came to the Philippines, because for Miss Earth 2024, that's my first time here. And I knew about the Philippines and the love of life and culture here from my high school best friend, who's actually from Manila. I've never met someone with more energy, more zest for life, and her whole family was like this. And I thought, are you an exclusion, or is everyone a little bit like that? And I came here and discovered that it is definitely a cultural thing. There is such a love for life, an appreciation of one another, of our experiences, of joy and of celebration here that is unmatched anywhere else in the world. I've had the incredible opportunity of going to coronations in a few countries now, and whilst the production may be huge, whilst the girls may have lots and lots of training, and the host be an influencer or famous, or on paper, while it may seem like extraordinary, nothing compares to the love and the zest and the passion that we have here in the Philippines. I understand the concerns that you express, but honestly, this is pageantry home, and this is certainly Miss Earth's home.
Thank you. Proving that it's really more fun in the Philippines. Yes?
The next question goes to Ms. Leia and Ms. Earth. Apologies, and having a hard time pronouncing your first name. Okay, so we know that each beauty queen has her own number of bashers online. If one basher criticizes you, saying that you do not live up to your adult circles, how would you convince them or prove to them that they are wrong?
That is a really interesting question because, of course, our fans are so passionate, but that can also manifest itself through negative energy sometimes. And honestly, someone saying that my advocacy isn't something that I'm so passionate about would hurt more so than you saying I look a certain way or I need this or that fixed, because my advocacy is something that I've been living since I was in middle school. I grew up in Milwaukee, which is one of the cities in the U.S. that has the highest population of refugees from Myanmar. And a lot of these people are Burman, they're Rohingya, they're facing genocide in their home country. And I gained a passion for refugee advocacy by volunteering in middle school and high school as an English as a second language teacher and hearing directly these stories of survival and perseverance. And it wasn't until I actually started competing for Miss Earth USA that I started to recognize the environmental dimension of refugee status, not only for people who are directly displaced by climate change, but also climate change is a risk multiplier for refugees. Oftentimes, refugee camps are built in the least desirable areas of the country where they're the most impacted by pollution. And that's why it's so necessary to use my platform to have these intersectional conversations, to recognize that climate change is exacerbating existing conflicts and why it's so necessary to act now. I'm really hoping now that I'm living in the Philippines as well that I can directly contribute to disaster relief efforts. I was able to donate school supplies to a local school in Loigon right after Typhoon Amon, and I'm excited to continue addressing
how we can move forward and how we can be more resilient as we address these rising challenges.
Thank you, Diana. Raven, on to you.
Well, to be completely honest, one last year, I know my truth, I stand on my truth, and I absolutely love my advocacy, and what I do in nonprofit work, I do that. And if you don't believe me, I mean, that's on you. I'm so sorry. I will advocate for what's important for me, and what's important for me is the environment and teaching the younger generation about their environment. And if you don't believe my passion, don't believe my advocacies, I mean, that's kind of on you because I'm inspiring so many more people than just one person who decides to be that way. So I encourage every young lady to not let one failure stop you from doing what you love or inspiring others. So one failure, you can just go away. Just don't be in my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raven. Yes,
You
Justin.
know, this question is for Raven and I have an earthly statement that I think is quite easy to remember, so I feel is worth sharing. One person may throw dirt on my name, another flowers, but it's all regarded to me. Take it as sticks and stones, my friends.
I love that. I love that quote. I was able to read that as well, and it was, wow, mind-blowing. But thank you. They are really the personification of unbothered queens. Really. Our queens are on a different level when it comes to being phenomenal. So thank you for that. Thank you as well. And hello to you, good sir. Do you have any questions?
Good afternoon, I am Mel Corras from Congratulatory. My question is for the three of you. How has your definition of beauty changed during your time as Mr. Queens?
Okay, that is a heavy question. Changing your perspective when it comes to beauty. Maria.
Yeah, I needed a moment to think about that because what a fantastic question. But something I really like in Filipino language is that maganda doesn't just mean beautiful, it also means someone with a good character. And I think that's something that I really learned here in the Philippines. And working with so many beautiful passions now in my capacity as with water is a much better compliment in my opinion. It's not, oh, you're so pretty. It's, oh, you're so nice to work with, or, oh, I've learned from your advocacy when we're having conversations, when we're talking about the impact work that we do in our communities. And that's something that I really see in this Philippines, that they are maganda, not just facially, but also in the content of their character. And I really hope that that can cause a ripple effect across the pageant industry to continue trending towards not only who is the most beautiful facially, because that all fades. It's all about the impact that you make in the people around you's life and the impact that you make in the world.
Thank you, Maria, for that. Ooh, but then, you are maganda in and outside. Thank you. Raven, how did your perspective when it comes to beauty change when you were proud or when you joined Miss Earth?
Well, my idea of beauty has never been about beauties. I've always been really tall, really skinny, with dark hair and blue eyes. And I thought that's not really called beauty standards. But when I travel to other countries, I'm gorgeous, sexy, and la 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 la. And I kind of like realized at a young age that we are all different. Beauty comes from within. And as soon as winning the Miss Earth Year title, it kind of like confirmed with me that we are all beautiful inside and out. And what really matters is how we were raised, and how we look in life, how we treat others, and we're kind.
Thank you for that. I like the taste of our Miss Earth Queens. Now I'd love to hear it now from our Mermaid Queen, Miss Jessica.
Honestly, I have to reflect the sentiment that beauty absolutely comes from within, and it's in the eye of the beholder. You travel the world and everyone has different beauty standards. I'm 6 foot tall. In some countries, I'm way too tall to be considered beautiful. In other countries, that's the standard, that's the goal. So I do believe that focusing on what you can contribute rather than what you can take and how you can help people's lives is so much more important. But as well, this industry has changed my perspective on beauty in a unique way because I didn't grow up in a pageant family. I didn't grow up in a pageant industry. Not even heels on a surfboard or on a tree. I did not spend my days in high heels. And I didn't know that pageant girls could be so change-making, so deep, so genuine, and have the ability to genuinely impact the world around them. Growing up thinking that the most you could do was get your hands dirty, it wasn't false, but there's no reason you can't do that with a face full of makeup on your hair done as well. The girls in the middle on this journey have told me that beauty on the outside only reflects the incredible person they are on the inside. And it's been a change-making gift to learn that lesson.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you very much, Sir Mel, for that question. And that wraps up our media interview for our queens. And I think we have already established that beauty is really subjective, but never should kindness. So thank you very much for that. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our Miss Earth 2024 queens. Thank you for sharing your very insightful messages, for indulging our media friends with their questions, and of course for sharing your memories, your experiences, and your journey with Miss Earth organization. Maraming salamat for changing the Earth and for making sure that you are carrying the legacy of Miss Earth with you wherever you go. Now, in the meantime, I would also like to thank our friends from the media. Maraming salamat to everybody who joined us in this afternoon session. Thank you for being here, and of course, thank you to Rain Project Management for making this event possible. Again, a huge shout out to Sir Paul and Aquino for making this event possible, for our queens, for our media friends, and to all who have tuned in live during our Facebook stream. Maraming salamat once again. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a short interview for some. We have more questions to ask from you guys, but I believe our media friends will have a moment with you, a one-on-one interview with you later on. So thank you very much to our Miss Earth 2024 reigning queens of Bea, Raven, and Jessica for their commitment and presence. Ladies, we do hope that you will always consider Philippines as your second home. We would like to call it Welcome to the Philippines and Welcome Home. A round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, to this three beautiful queens that we have here on stage. And of course, since we are blessed by your presence, we would like to invite here on stage Ms. Chama Kita together with Sir Paul Reyes for the flowers. Of course, we'd like to give you guys some flowers for this afternoon. You have graces with your beauty, with your presence, intelligence even. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. And I'm sure our media friends were able to capture not just beauty, but also that experience, the beautiful things that you have shared with everybody here this afternoon. Again, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our Miss Earth 2024 queens. And now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite here on stage a round of applause for the executives of Rain Project Management. Give it up for Sir Paul Reyes and Ms. Chama Aquino. Here on stage, our three beautiful queens who have joined us for this afternoon session. We have Miss Michelle Gomez, Miss Christina Morales, and of course our Miss Charm Germany 2025, Miss Louisa. Thank you once again to the Rain Project Management for inviting all of our media friends and putting this event for our Miss Earth 2024 queen. Thank you so much. Ooh, I still get my flowers. Thank you. And now, before we end the event, ladies and gentlemen, we just request a huge energy from the crowd. A round of applause for Rain Project Management, Miss Earth Organization, and our Miss Earth 2024 queens. Now, first thing we would like to say to everybody is our huge gratitude and appreciation for being here, for sharing with us your presence. And please do join us. Mark your calendars International.
She's the woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. She will teach her child every golden story. She's the woman of the earth, spreading love and joy.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our Miss Earth 2024 queens and to our queens who have joined us here on stage. Miss Christina Morales, our Miss Earth 2004. We have our, the very beautiful Miss Earth Air. We have Miss Michelle Gomez together, Miss Charm 2025, Miss Louisa. Thank you for joining us in this afternoon session. Once again, this has been Joy Vercoma, Miss Philippines Earth 2025, and this is Miss Earth 2024 Queens Media Conference.